Independent MP Dai, the member for Fowler, joins us live now. Dai, great to see you. Good to have you back on the program. Paul
Thanks, Laura.
Keating, he certainly made headlines yesterday. What did you think of his comments?
Look, I think you've I was just listening to you and Peter Khalil just then, and I think that, everything that you raise, it's what I am concerned about in terms of, first, $360 billion on 8 subs that's going to be ready, or is going to, in 27 years' time, to address something that's very imminent. It just doesn't make sense. Peter Khalil, so, the defence in terms of the diplomatic relationship that we're trying to build with the region and with China, well, sending subs into the water to gather intelligence and spying on them, to me, that doesn't signal good diplomacy, from the government. But I think I go back to, importantly, first of all, the cost of living that we're all experiencing at the moment.
Yeah.
When I asked for the government to extend the fuel tax levy, which was about $3 billion, the Treasurer said to me they couldn't accommodate that in the budget because it's too much, $3 billion. Now, but this $368 billion they were prepared to spend, and at what cost to the Australian communities, the Australian working families here that we're struggling at the moment with the rising interest rates, the cost of living, energy prices going to go up at least 20%. So it just, from my perspective, the cost of living, the people's lives here, what is the government doing about that to address that first and foremost? In terms of diplomacy, in terms of where we are in the region, Australia in the region, I have no doubt we have built decades of relationship with our region. I see Australia as being the most multicultural and as the United Nation in the world, right? So I think we should be leading in peace talks. I should think that we should take the lead here, not to follow. So the things that I think Keating pointed to in terms of obviously he has a passion around the region and Australia's engagement with the region. This puts a question to our sovereignty. But look, all of this doesn't make sense. I think I'm a humble person here in my electorate. I fight for my community in terms of investment in our hospitals. That's about $500 million, and the Medicare rebate, all of that, because doctors aren't able to, treat patients because there's no Medicare rebate. Those things that are impacting the lives of Australians. Why aren't we addressing them? If we are fearful of China, the policies have allowed for them to buy land here. They own vineyards here. They have, they're the biggest trading partners. So all of this really contradicts what we're trying to do. So anyway, I could go on. As you said, we can spend an hour talking about this. But I can just ask people, the government, to really look at this point in time, how can they justify that spending?
Yeah.
At this point in time, where we are as a country, where we are in the region, why aren't we tapping into the human capital that we have in this country to ensure that we engage with the region and engage with the North, rather than actually taking a decision or a policy piece that's really about confronting them? When is there a need to? What are the imminent threats that we are facing at the moment? I mean, that's the question I want to ask the government.
Yeah, well, I just asked that question of Peter Khalil as well. And look, it's not an easy answer, I don't think, but you raise cost of living, and I think it's a really important part of this debate, funnily enough. We're spending $368 billion today. There's also, after yesterday's reports that electricity prices on the East Coast are going to go up some 20%. It'll be 30% in Victoria. Today, we have confirmation that there is an East Coast gas shortage looming, and that is going to be over the next couple of years. And there is uncontracted gas that hasn't yet been allocated to the local market. What do you want to see the government do about that?
First of all, Parliament was recalled in December in order for the government to put a cap on prices on gases in order to ensure that we will see some reduction in gas prices, which will then obviously flow on to the reduction of energy prices. That hasn't happened. So when will that happen? The government just announced, to build 30,000 social housing. Now, how are we going to ensure that if we can spend 368, I think let's work that 368 billion, 1 billion is about $1,000 million. Now, because the number is so huge, so it's hard to fathom what it all means, right? But 1,000 million, it costs about 750,000 up to $1 million to build one house, one home. That could equate to about 1,000 new homes that we're able to build to address the shortages of housing in Australia. A hospital, in my hospital, Fairfield Hospital, it takes, we're asking for $500 million to upgrade the hospital so they can cater, it can look after the community here. That's $500 million. So those kinds, and our schools, our education, our small businesses that are struggling, as with the electricity prices going up, that's going to impact on small businesses here who will pass it on to consumers, who will pass it on to the people. I went shopping yesterday, and normally it costs me about, you do 2 weeks grocery shopping is about $300. It's $450.
Yeah,
$450.
I'm feeling it.
And so, we need to talk about the real things that are actually happening in the lives of ordinary working Australians. We're waiting for that.
We will see. Dai Li, I wish we had more time, but we don't. We'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.